go grab some produce boxes. Shiitake mushrooms right here that are ready to go. Right before harvest, it's recommended to kind of cut the humidity down just a little bit. That way your mushrooms, basically you get a longer shelf life out of them. So yeah, these mushrooms are growing off of a mix of oak hardwood sawdust to kill off any kind of competitor organisms that can outcompete our mushroom mycelium. Nice nutritional boost to kind of take over the sawdust, inoculate with some grain spawn, and I just keep grabbing blocks. Because it does have small stems or short stems. It grows these nice, less dense of a cap. It takes me a few minutes to harvest that 2 pounds as compared to growing oyster mushrooms. You could just shut your humidity off for about 2 weeks. So it's completely brown, basically. Put them in there when they're still white. You're not going to get as much of a yield. Mushrooms should never be eaten raw. It's also very medicinal. It's originated on oak trees. Heat treatment is necessary to break down the cell wall enough to where our bodies can access the nutrients. When you're eating fresh mushrooms, or people love getting fresh button mushrooms in their salads, you're not even getting any nutritional content from those except the water that they have. Caramelization or a light browning to them, and that's where I find they're really tasty. You can enjoy them as a snack on their own, because the stem of the shiitake is actually very tough and really chewy. And this mushroom has a really nice woodsy, almost smoky flavor. Really utilize it. I mean, I would say this one has a distinct flavor. It's definitely unique. These ones have their own flavor. It's like robust, meaty, really pairs well with a lot of things. We've done shiitake tacos as well. And they also make really good mushroom tacos without cuisine. Stir fries, fried rices, soups like miso, aside just for the shiitake incubation. So they have their own incubation warehouse. Piapini, stuff like that in our fast fruiting section. If you're looking for a mushroom to grow and you're thinking you want to go crazy with shiitake, definitely grow a few blocks, because I just like to grow. I just started growing up as many strains as I can, and I like growing variety. One of my production days, I would just set aside a shiitake day, and I wanted to get familiar with the growth of it because I was really interested in shiitake. I noticed though that shiitake's a great farmer's market mushroom. Grow Room 3 has its own exclusive air system, so that one I can really utilize to just power out some oyster mushrooms, and I do lion's mane very well in there. I can get the teeth to grow out very long, and so Grow Room 1 does piapini and chestnut. It also does oyster mushrooms very well. Grow Room 3 does my lion's mane, and let's see. And I'll just do reishi all on the top shelf of my grow room. So that way the mushrooms have enough room and space to grow out properly. Good for teas, so you'll just boil these up. You can boil them fresh, 30 minutes. Like I said, this mushroom is very tough, has a very thick cell wall, and chitin is actually the same substance that the crab shells are made out of, and hard materials like that. So you can notice the very hard structure of the shell of this mushroom. Recommended that you cut them with scissors. If you try harvesting them with your hand, you're likely to rip out some substrate. This paper is good because it kind of locks in that moisture so your mushrooms don't dry out when they're in the fridge. Your mushrooms will try to grow onto that. The 5 pounds in our boxes can damage your mushrooms, so we just try to keep it nice. The chestnut mushroom produces like a chestnut browns for slant or a petri dish, and then you can have access to that strain for years to come. Something like this right here, my 3782 is actually from a clone. It's from 2017, so upside down. No mushrooms grow out of the top. Mushroom block is colonizing. Maybe most of the moisture might be collecting down at the bottom. There's such a huge force behind the industry that are cultivating them. It's a $1 billion industry. Like shiitakes produce lentinin. It's also anti-cancer, anti-tumor. You know, nerve growth and neurons in the brain is really outstanding. And there's so much to the world of mushrooms that you can find with hardwood-loving species. So I think it's not the norm with seeing, like, you know, now we're starting to see more growers pop up. There's a lot of big key players in the industry that are able to cultivate over 1 million pounds of agaricus mushrooms every month. You see them on every shelf. You don't see much of the specialty mushrooms. We're starting to see more of this growth out here in the United States. I can utilize local hardwood waste. If that's not available, I can get hardwood pellets that can be rehydrated and turned into my substrate. So storage is easy. I can store things on pallets with no smell. I don't have to walk into my facility and smell a bunch of compost, which would not be good for my lab is in the warehouse next door. Been just a leading producer worldwide for mushrooms. So I'm teaching people about this so we can access good food. It's like going against what we're supposed to be eating mushrooms for. A really huge population, they've learned to cultivate a lot of food for a lot of people.